So what does happen when the world's most hateable cinematic characters meet a tentacle monster in the sky? Hello and welcome to Rotted Reviews, and today I'm going to be tackling a rotted request put out by patron Catherine, who said she wanted me to watch and review the 2010 movie Altitude, and her reasoning for it is, remember when I asked you if a bad movie could be saved by a cool ending? I actually do remember that question, and the only one that I could really think of off the top of my head at that time was A Christmas Horror Story starring Bill Shatner. Good old Bill! So, Altitude, directed by Carr Andrews and written by Paul A. Burkett, we follow the character of Sarah, played by Jessica Lowndes. Interested in going to a concert with her four friends, they decide to get a jump on the crowd, and rather than drive, they rent a light aircraft. You see, Sarah is a licensed pilot who is rated for this particular plane and is eager to have fun and, well, perhaps show off a little bit. Unfortunately, not everything goes to plan as a bolt comes loose and gets caught in the mechanisms controlling the elevator, forcing them to ascend endlessly.
Elevator's not responding for some reason.
There's an elevator on this plane?
Things can't be fixed from the inside of the plane, Mayday calls to the tower are going unanswered, and to top it all off, storms are brewing. How will Sarah and company get out of this tricky situation? Well, apparently violent squabbles don't work, but are nonetheless the favorite tool of this movie's many tools. Overall, I have to agree with Catherine. This is a bad, not terrible movie, with a pretty cool ending. Maybe not entirely redeeming considering the contents of the previous hour and 20 minutes, but what are you gonna do? There is one thing though.
One thing. Just one thing.
One significant point of interest if I were going to try and sell this movie to anyone is this. This film may very well contain the most hateable characters of any movie I've ever seen.
He didn't do anything.
Yeah, well, somebody did. Yeah, he's right. You know what? This is your fault, Sarah.
This is not my fault.
How long have you had your license anyway, huh?
Long enough.
If you know me, you know I don't like hyperbole. This is a strong statement, and I stand by it. At first, it was an exercise in frustration, but at some point, it actually kind of drifted into pure fascination. Like, how much worse can these characters get? What movie characters could rival their awfulness? I honestly struggle to think of any. In terms of the decision tree characters can branch out on, it felt like a disaster movie of this type would have two major paths to follow: organized problem solving or obnoxious infighting. Altitude leaned into the latter, and hard. The character of Sal, in particular, played by Jake Weary, is top of the annoyance heap, potentially perched as the absolute tippy top of my hateable character's mountain.
Oh my god, great condition.
Sal, you're so not funny. Stop it.
Dude, it's ripping. Come on.
Sal, what are you doing?
Obnoxious before even leaving the ground, there is not a single interaction that he cannot meet with anger, bullying, panic, distrust, cowardice, and all of it at a high volume. That goes for volume of decibel levels, volume of scale, and volume of frequency.
Whoa, Bin Laden, what's up, man?
Sal, relax.
Before anyone gets the wrong idea and thinks that I'm complaining, believe me, I'm not. Again, this went from annoying to downright mesmerizing. As far as I'm concerned, Altitude is a film worthy of academic scrutiny. Stephen King and Frank Darabont could previously stand proudly by their combined effort of bringing Mrs. Carmody to screen in The Mist, but I gotta say, stand aside, because Sal's coming through strong. As far as the ending goes, it did find itself drifting into a bit of last-minute left-field territory, but while I won't go into spoilers about the state of the characters and the plane, I will say that the film did manage to stick the landing serviceably enough. It was interesting, well received, and like Catherine said, cool, especially after the infighting festival that came before it. The director Carr Andrews has gone on to helm some mildly notable things, a few TV show episodes, a segment for ABCs of Death, and Cabin Fever 3, Patient Zero. Writer Paul A. Burkett has since gone on to pen cinematic greatness along the lines of Ghost Shark, My Husband's Killer Girlfriend, My Husband's Deadly Past, Framed by My Husband, and Arachnoquake. At the end of the day, I find myself having difficulty recommending this movie, even with its cool ending, at least not a blanket recommendation. However, If you're a fan of movies that can provide top 5 list fodder, I do recommend checking out 2010's Altitude, in all seriousness. I have a feeling you might just have a new entry for your top 5 hateable characters list. And with that being said, thank you to Catherine for recommending this one to me. It was a trip and a half, and thank you for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please click that like button. And remember, next time you want to watch a horror movie, first make sure that it's good and rotted.